Welcome back. As 12 News continues to celebrate Black History Month, we're highlighting a moment that's not well known but shouldn't be forgotten. The Montford Point Marines were the first African Americans to enlist in the U.S. Marine Corps. That was during World War II. And for decades, their legacy as trailblazers in the military went unrecognized. This morning, 12 News journalist Cuddy Devine has the story of a Valley family whose father will finally get the recognition he deserves.
It's a part of our history, and it should never be forgotten. You know, it's part of what got us to where we are now.
Kim Skelton is a former Marine and a member of the Montford Point Marines Association, a group dedicated to honoring an important piece of Black history. The Montford Point Marines were the first African Americans to enlist in the U.S. Marine Corps, breaking racial barriers during World War II.
Nobody wanted the Black Marines. So, you know, they had a lot of things that they had to go through, basically just to prove that they were worthy to be there.
Between 1942 and 1949, over 20,000 Black recruits trained at Montford Point Camp near Fort Lejeune in North Carolina. The camp was segregated, and while there, the Black Marines endured racism and subpar conditions.
And they made it harder. The training was actually harder for them because they were trying to make them fail. They expected them to fail, but they didn't.
African American Marines were initially banned from combat roles, but eventually, thousands of Montford Point Marines would serve bravely in some of our nation's bloodiest battles in Iwo Jima, Okinawa, and later Vietnam. Their contributions paving the way for President Truman's 1948 executive order ending segregation in the military. And in 2012, President Barack Obama posthumously awarded the Montford Point Marines with the Congressional Gold Medal, formalizing their legacy in America's history.
So posthumously, they're being awarded as the families are being found and contacted. So there's, you know, it's just kind of find them when you can.
Little did Kim know she would find one of those trailblazing men in a place she didn't expect.
We were having Thanksgiving dinner here.
Former NFL player Joe Jackson is Kim's cousin.
And somehow I got to talking about it, and I showed you his honorary discharge. And then that just lit a candle for her. She said, oh my goodness, the Montford Point Marines.
The pieces didn't come together for me until he pulled out the discharge certificate, and I could see everything written right there. And at that point, it was kind of like, I don't think you know what you've got here. You know, so it's history. You know, he was a trailblazer.
Joe's father, William Lee Jackson, served in the Peleliu Islands, east of the Philippines, from 1944 to 1945.
He was a role model. He was my hero. He encouraged me, and he believed in me. And I wanted to do the things to please him. But it was tough. I was not a perfect kid.
How much about him being in the Marines did you know?
Well, not very much. He didn't really talk about the war at all. My grandmother told me that my father never drank at all. He came back from the war, and he came back a different person.
After the Marines, Joe's father worked 26 years as a letter carrier for the U.S. Postal Service while putting his 5 kids through college. He died at age 57. 80 years after his service to our country, Joe's father will be awarded with a Congressional Gold Medal at a ceremony in June.
Our whole family is excited about it, you know, and I just wish my dad could be around to receive it, obviously.
So what do you want people to know about your father's contribution?
I was thinking about that too. You know, my dad didn't do anything extraordinary. You know, he served his country. And the reason why we have this award is because of an injustice, not because my father was a valiant soldier and saved, you know, a platoon, but it's because of something that should have happened that didn't happen.
And that was Cuddy Devine reporting. As of today, only about 3,500 of the 20,000 Montford Point Marines have been identified and recognized with a Congressional Gold Medal. If you know a veteran who might be deserving of this award, be sure to contact the Montford Point Marine Association.